Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hey, look, I am recording from Podcaster today, the last place on Earth. And this is
Mike's Daily Podcast
Cafe Anyway. Hey, this is the show where I sing a song at the beginning, and then I come up with stuff to talk about. And like today, I heard something interesting. People are failing making things on their home projects that they're doing because they're
Mike's Daily Podcast
sheltered in place. And this is FF episode 2039. For example, there's this guy
Mike's
who's trying to fix
Daily
a retaining wall.
Podcast.
So he buys a bunch of sand and those rocks, those pavers, to redo the retaining wall. Perhaps you've done this project at home and it's easy as pie for you. And this guy does it at his house, but he doesn't consult with his neighbor. That's the thing. If you're going to do a project that involves your neighbor, if you don't talk to them and they do something wacky, this is what the neighbor did. The neighbor got all hysterical and weird because we're a bunch of germaphobe, microphobe people these days. He's like, well, the back of the bag of sand says, danger, this sand may have been in contact with some toxic materials. I don't know, it's sand. Maybe it got, who knows what's in the sand. It's sand, as Sam Kinison once said very loudly. So what they do is they go back and forth. They have a big angry exchange. The guy ends up he can't do the retaining wall. He hires somebody who basically just does what was there to begin with. So that's what people are doing. They're trying to do these little projects at home. I did a project at home, but I do the simple ones. Well, except the time when I tried to fix the thing that was wrong with my shower and water shot out. And then I was like, maybe I should have turned the water off at the main. Remember to always know where your main is and to turn off the water there.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Get one of those big key things. Those are great. You're going to need that. I showed my lovely lady friend how to do that because who knows? Because, for example, one of the issues that I also heard in these projects, which I may have pulled from NPR, which now I know somebody who has a sister that works for NPR and drives down to Culver City every day. Although now she's having to work from home, so she's not actually she's not doing it. But the Culver City, let's just say the traffic there is usually ridiculous. Basil knows in Los Angeles, but when you are listening to NPR and they go live from Culver City, so that's what this friend of mine's sister, who's 27, has to do. She has to get up at like 4 a.m. to get down there by 6 because the traffic is so bad in LA. When we're back to normal at some point. 2039 is where we are at today. Also, so the one lady that was on this NPR story was trying to put in a bidet, which that is not an easy thing to do. Bidet is not an easy word to say. And she put one in, but in the process, caused a massive flood, water everywhere. And then that was a very bad situation as well. So, let's look at the podcast picture today. Let's see. As Citrix Receiver is trying to do an update, don't ever click on the Citrix Receiver needs to do an update, because it will do installing updates for now. How long has this podcast been going on? Dang. For at least 4 minutes. So the podcast picture is of Basil the Boxer and I, who you heard a little while ago. He's doing well. We had a nice day of, he can't get up to go do his thing anymore, so we have to, put things in place to catch certain stuff that comes out of him. Let's just say that was being used to the max yesterday. A lot of things leaving the dog, as it were. But he's doing well other than that. And you see a picture of him at MikesDailyPodcast.com. What else did we discover today on our way into work? As we always hear so many fascinating things coming in. That, Hong Kong. There's a lot going on in Hong Kong these days because of the economic situation. And then there's Iceland apparently has had only one. They had, I think the last case that they had of someone having COVID-19 was back in April. And they say they attribute it to their, they have the contact tracing app that everybody has on their phone now. And they promise with the contact tracing app that if you use it, the information, the data gets deleted after a certain amount of time, so you don't have to worry about the government knowing everywhere you are. But they were able to track exactly where people were, if they got the COVID-19, where they were getting it from, etc. And now here in the U.S., we're very interested in contact tracing. However, there are some of you who would be, no, don't get that near me. I don't want my information out there. I don't want to be followed everywhere I go. However, if you use Google Maps, they're doing the same thing. They're tracking wherever you're going. Dang, the Citrix receiver update is still going. Installing updates. Come on. This is ridiculous. Why did I click on that dang thing? I think it's time to uninstall Citrix from this computer. And perhaps you should too. As we are about to go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the people that are going to be doing there's some people that are going to be on the radio that I'm going to help get on the radio on the Sunday morning. How they get up this early on a Sunday, I don't know, but it's not been easy because of all the wonderful rain we've been receiving still in California. It's been nonstop rain for about 2 minutes. I have a Rush shirt on today, by the way. I have a Rush shirt, and we were jamming to Rush. Myself and Vince. Is Vince nearby? I was waving to Vince. He can't see me here outside a cafe anyway. We're somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. There's some people out here of Cafe Anyway. Let's say hi to them today. Hi, Mont! It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing? I brought my horse today.
That's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what.
What?
I believe that what's happening in Hong Kong is people are wearing masks and such.
You know, they're not wearing masks anymore in Iceland because they got that one guy, the last guy that get coronavirus was back in April. So they're like, yeah, and now we can start gathering 20 people or more. Wow. When is that ever going to happen again here in the U.S.? 20 people getting together. Although my next door neighbor had some kind of mad, crazy party next door. People were throwing the football to each other on the street. Of course, they were all 6 feet apart, so I guess that was social distancing. Look who else is here.
Oh, man, I can't make the delicious root beer Hester right now. I'm not German. Oh, boy.
I watched the episode of Community yesterday with the Germans, where they keep the people from Community, Britta, Jeff, Abed, and everybody out of the study room. They go, no, we are going to take over the study room. And then there's all these implications of Germany and the Second World War and all that stuff. It was just classic Community, I guess. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful, and it is still installing updates. Oh, dang updates. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. What do you think about all of these topics? What do you think of Iceland? You can call me at 336-MM Daily. 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast is. Oh, yeah, the Rush shirt. Power Windows. 1985. Discussing 80s Rush. You've got your moving pictures, Signals, Grace Under Pressure, power windows, which is what I'm wearing now. Then Hold Your Fire, Presto, and then there was Roll the Bones towards the end. That's when I finally got to see him in concert, was Roll the Bones. Primus opened for them. This was at the Forum in Irvine. And then after that, a couple months later, we saw, my friend Mike and I saw, who was it? Oh, Mr. Big opened for them at the Irvine Meadows Amphitheater. Wait a minute. The Forum is not in Irvine, is it? I'm forgetting where that is now. It's been a while since I've been down in Southern California. So there you go. Listen to some Rush this week, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to episode 2039, and take it away, A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!